So shiver me timbers, I'm sailing away. Hey, y'all, come on in. It's great to see you.
We have our third shaving cream in a tube from Ariana and Evans.
It's a beautiful morning with the Barbershop Duet.
Hi, I'm Marcus Klinger with Klinger Vocal Studio.
And I'm Sarah Vincent with Sarah Vincent Virtual Pilates.
But on Wednesdays and Saturdays.
We are the Barbershop Duet.
Hey, y'all, come on in. Thank you for finding our little barbershop. If you happen to be here during one of the live premieres on YouTube, would you please come in the live chat so we can meet you and have you meet the Whiff Pack, a cool group of friends hanging out from all over the world. They'd love to meet you too.
They would. And for our mention today, we wanted to talk about the Oud Diction EDP we got from Ariana and Evans. We've had a little more time with it now, but here are these scent notes. Bergamot, honey, oud, rose, tobacco absolute, saffron, sandalwood, vanilla, and patchouli. And my friends, the dry down on this is quite an experience. There's something ambery happening in there, powdery. It starts sweet, and then it goes deep in there somehow.
And I got this because folks around here on cold winter nights like to put on By the Fireside. Well, that's a little too sweet, a little too whimsical for me. I like something a little darker, a little more mysterious, a little more manly, a little more oud hiding under the surface to just give me that sense of warmth and spice on a cold winter night. Super masculine. I love this thing. And what is our soap today?
Our soap today is the third cream in a tube that they have coming out, and it's based off of an old friend of ours.
Yeah, well, let's meet it again. All right, y'all, from the sales page at shavingshopclub.com.
This is inspired by Old Spice, a nostalgic tribute to the original Shulton formulation. This shaving cream captures the bold, sophisticated essence of mid-20th century barbershop luxury. Top notes: a bright burst of zesty orange peel and juicy lemon, softened by a whisper of bergamot. Lively, fresh, and invigorating. Heart notes: the soul of the fragrance unfolds with carnations, spicy clove-like warmth, deepened by powdery lavender and aromatic geranium, evoking the refined elegance of the classic. Base notes: a rich, enduring foundation of sweet vanilla, resinous benzoin, and creamy tonka bean, wrapped in the musky embrace of aged sandalwood and oak moss. A touch of ambergris adds a subtle animalic depth, while nutmeg and cinnamon linger like the memory of a bygone era.
Well, y'all, constant viewers will know that just about our most treasured inheritance from Grandpa is this bottle of Shulton Formula Old Spice from the early 1960s that still has its Christmas sticker on it. It was never opened. It was never used. It was kept in the box in the back of a very dark closet in a rather cool Bay Area climate. So this is just about as good as you're going to get when it comes to a whiff of the original juice. It smells exactly like I remember my grandpa smelling growing up. What does this bring you when you smell it?
It does. It's just this whisper of that knowledge somehow that my grandpa has. Like, just of all those years that you've lived, somehow this scent captures that for me.
Family custom and tradition in a scent somehow. So, y'all, what better scent for them to homage for this new line in the aluminum custom tubes? Let's take it out of the box.
We did see an announcement today that they just dropped a fourth scent in this line.
Based on lilac. And there's a little Khalifa in there. Are you kidding? And y'all, you gotta see how these come from Ariana and Evans. The presentation alone for a rather budget-friendly line. Look at the luxury that you still receive from Ariana and Evans, these custom boxes. And then, y'all, this isn't just the soap. It's a splash, too. And y'all, you can't imagine how little of this you actually need. I might be holding months worth of soap in my hands. These are indeed perfect friends, and come along for our first impression.
I feel like I should make you go first. Let's see.
I'm totally going to. And y'all, here's why I love these aluminum tubes. They come sealed like this, and there's a poker on the little cap. Now, these are a little bit overfilled, so when you do break the seal, be ready with your brush. There we go. And a little squeeze.
Go a long way.
There it is, y'all. And I think that is about as much as you need to shave your face. When we had watched Peter's video on this and talked to Talia about it, it's very much sort of a tube to face kind of product, so we didn't know how it was going to do lathering in a shave bowl. Well, I'm just going to leave that little pinch right there, and we're going to use the bowl to get our first whiff here so it comes out of the tube. And before you whiff, let me add just a little water to activate it. All right, here we go. Take it in.
Oh, I'm going first.
See what you get, because you know Old Spice as well as I do.
I have to say, just from here, I'm already getting whiffs, so the potency is definitely here. Oh, it is a good homage.
Yeah?
It has a fun connection to that version that we have.
Oh.
And it still, to me, has a little bit more of the spices that are waking up here.
Nice. For me, the heart of Old Spice is carnation and nutmeg. Well, my dad was a funeral director, my mom was a baker, so...
I think what's different about this one, since we have a good chunk of Old Spice homages,
6, I think, yeah.
This Schulten formula, there's a little aging. I know it's still preserved pretty well. If you take away the aging and you leave all the spice action, the spice is prominent here to me. Oh. It's funny, at first the color that comes to mind is white because of how clean it is and just that dapper kind of older vibe for me. But then it flips and it wants it to be red. And I think it's because our box is red. Like my brain doesn't know how to file. So obviously it's a pretty close version to the Schulten one we have. It's not the darker side of Old Spice. Like sometimes it can get more of that burgundy, deeper spice.
Right, it can get awfully rugged in some of the homages we've got.
And this one is a little bit brighter. So the citruses, the florals are definitely having their moment here. Nice. It's got a lot of layers. So don't think because it's just in a tube, it doesn't have the quality of the other soaps and creams, because, my friends, it definitely does.
That's what I love about A&E. Some of their most fabulous scents are exclusively in more of their budget-minded products.
Mm-hmm. I think it's really genius for this line of product to add something that's an homage to such a vintage scent. Like all the other dads will be like, wow, my dad used to use this. I should get this one.
And y'all, I was a cremo shaver for 15, 20 years. If I had seen something like this pop up under the You May Also Like on Amazon, I would have shifted instantly, and I would have been very grateful for it.
And it comes with the splash, where most of the times you have to buy them separate, or you didn't even know there was a splash like we didn't.
And I don't know if it's going to remain as a set, Peter said, but I love that he is starting it that way, because back in my cremo days, I didn't understand the glory of what a splash did. Not just for the aromatherapy, but for the actual work it did in helping my face recover from the shave itself. Y'all, it's a great way to introduce the beginning shaver to that, too.
We do have a good chunk of homages to this, but I think this might be one of the closer ones that we have so far, but Marcus will know way better than I will.
I will, and I'm going to just kind of work up a little bit of foam in this real quick, just so I can get a little bit better sense of what it smells like and show you guys how easily this lathers. Look at this, already needs water.
Mm-hmm. A few moments later.
That tiny, tiny dot of soap, y'all, look what it's doing in the bowl. Okay, here we go. Time for my first whiff. Y'all, here's the thing about this. In some of the homages that I have smelled, they go down into the sweets and then into the spices, and then they get really rugged, and the sweet sort of stops a little bit before it does in the original version. Something about the aldehydes, something about the way that those botanicals are coming together. Let your nose go a little bit deeper in the original before it hits something too rugged, too herby, too grassy. This doesn't. This lets you descend all the way down into the sweets of that original Schulten formula, unlike any of the homages I think I have smelled yet. And you're almost met with a little touch of an extra carnation or something when you get down into the base of it. Peter, what a beautiful Old Spice this is. All right, hold on. Oh, and when it shakes hands with you when it first meets you, it's doing a phenomenal Old Spice impression. I don't say this very often. I don't know if I'd know the difference.
I honestly felt like I was back in time and I opened the Schulten formula when it first came out.
Yeah, I don't say that all the time. I don't even know if I said that yet about Old Spice homages. I don't know if I'd tell the difference between this and the original formula.
Yeah.
Wow. Which is awesome, because this product is new, and it means that I don't have to covet this as heavily as I have been.
We can use this one instead.
Oh, and there's a splash. The mystery that's in the middle of Old Spice, the adventure that it takes your nose on, is fully present here. There's some extra work being done in these herbs and spices in the middle.
And I think it really does, for me, when you take a whiff, have a top, a mid, a bottom, which is interesting.
It's a giant journey. This is not linear at all.
No, because I think some of the other times when it's an homage to Old Spice, it can get a little bit muddled in the middle. This one keeps the layers in a very cool way.
And y'all, I have put a threatening amount of water into this lather during the cuts. And look, it is just still responding beautifully. This is nowhere near breaking.
It's funny because when we use a normal soap, we say about like an almond size. This was not even half an almond. A pea?
You could have put it on the head of a pin.
So don't think that you just see a tiny little tube like that. There's plenty.
Doing the math on that, this would last half a year. If there's anything my shaving collection is bad at, it's reminding me how much longer than me it's going to live. I think part of my brain thinks if I've got 20,000 shaves worth of shaving soap, I'm going to live that long.
So we just have to keep buying more, and he'll be invincible.
It makes sense to me. Okay, let's do a little experiment. I'm going to keep adding water. Look at this, y'all. That tiny dot.
It hasn't stopped making less soap yet.
There is no breaking this lather. I was talking to Doug Lane about the post-shave feel. He said it's probably the manteca, a fabulous ingredient for conditioning the face. Y'all, I put like 9 cups of water into this.
Wow. I did use this the other day for just a quick pit shave, and I probably used that amount, and I split it through both sides, and there was extra. So, you barely got to get any out of that too.
Yeah, my very first shave with it, I put some on my face, and I shaved, and then I went, that was too much. I wonder if I could just do the second pass with the residual that's still on my face, and I rubbed it in a little bit. Second pass. Beautiful.
Well, look what's happening in the bowl.
I know. And let's see if we can recreate that video that Sharky did a couple of week's ago when he shaved with the tube. Y'all, look at this lather. May I do the honors?
Iridescence, yes.
Watch this, y'all. Oh.
I'm actually kind of sad we already did our episode with all of our Old Spice homages.
Right.
Because we should have added this one into the mix too.
Exactly 9 cents worth of shaving soap is on both of our faces right now.
There is a nice slickness to this. Even though you're getting more and more suds out of there, it's still padded and it's got that nice protection, I gotta say.
And where did you get this gorgeous brush?
My friends, this is my A&E synthetic knot brush. And I love the vintage handle that just fits so well in my little hands.
I can't believe I didn't break this lather. I put so much water in here and it is still raring to go. All right, y'all, please report to the safety drill. We're going out to sea to look at some scent notes. Y'all, the impressionist Rich Little is still alive. And when I see him do the Johnny Carson impression, my brain immediately starts looking for what's different because the impression is so good. I'm trying to find Rich Little in that Johnny Carson. I'm trying to find the A&E inside of this Old Spice. And usually within a couple of whiffs of an homage, I can find a difference. I can start to find how they diverge. Y'all, in this, I can't. And I'm sitting here next to a bottle of the original. In fact, this is something you will only find here on the Barbershop Duet. This is the Back to the Future whiff on 3, 1, 2. Right. This is just slightly more intense, but it's the same scent.
We'll know when we get to the splash. There's a little something a little more ambery in here. Maybe would be the only difference I got.
Back to the sales page at aegrooming.com.
A bright burst of zesty orange peel and juicy lemon, softened by a whisper of bergamot. Lively, fresh, and invigorating.
Y'all, I think Green Irish Tweed took a little bit of inspiration from Old Spice in how it handles the citruses in the top notes. And then heart notes of carnation, spicy clove-like warmth, deepened by powdery lavender and aromatic geranium, invoking the refined elegance of the classic. And that's what it is. What a fabulous balance this was. When whoever came up with this, it must have been a giant eureka moment.
And then our base notes, a rich, enduring foundation of sweet vanilla. This is the part Marcus likes.
That's giant. I really do get the vanilla in both forms of this.
And then resinous benzoin. I definitely get that as well. And creamy tonka bean wrapped in the musky embrace of aged sandalwood and oak moss. And the first of the tubes from this that we smelled was technically a sandalwood.
And what a sandalwood. Sandalwood with like 9 other things giving it a big hug. Beautiful.
And a touch of ambergris adds a subtle animalic depth, while nutmeg and cinnamon linger like the memory of a bygone era. The cinnamon.
That's when I knew I was in love with Old Spice. When I found out it had cinnamon in there and my nose went, no, it doesn't. And then it smelled it and it went, oh, yeah, it does. Giant. Cinnamon is the big star of these base notes.
And it connects to the carnation part in such a cool way. The animalic thing just adds that little extra masculine kind of hint, which is very cool.
And my favorite part of getting a set from Ariana and Evans is watching my beloved open the splash because they put a little bit of electrician's tape up there to make sure that your product's going to get there safe and unharmed. But it's hilarious to watch Sarah open it. All right, here we go.
The last one I did pretty good, but I think that was
like
just
4
a one-off.
seconds, I know.
A few moments later.
Okay.
There we go, she did it. All right, take it in when we go a little deeper. And y'all, what better way to test the splash than with an exact A-B whip from the original? Here we go. Wow. Wow, how that does rugged. Oh. Right. Right. With this, all they've done is taken the EQ and turned it a tiny bit toward the brights, toward the higher end of the scent. But y'all, the frequencies are all there. Oh. Oh, now I see how this is a bit different, but hold on, because now I get to decide if it's been improved.
You know, it's funny because I feel like because we have it next to the original, we can see how it's, I don't want to say modernized. But
I was going to say modern!
There's something in the middle part that got either turned up or turned inside out for me.
A little more distinguished, a little bit more like what a Creed would do inside of this.
I'm getting like the texture in my hands of a scent, and I think it's like the cinnamon bark or like the rose petal dried up. Like there's some kind of a texture that my brain is trying to place. Is it the benzoin? Something in there.
And I love that this is not a duped molecule because I don't know entirely how, but I've been able to kind of tell the difference. This oil is still built of other accords. It's not just one scent molecule, if that makes sense.
I think if we think of it this way, the ingredients they had at the time of creating Old Spice have been turned up and gotten better over time. So the ones that we have access to now to create the scent have kind of added that little extra love.
True. This is a factory scent. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say this, but Will at Barrister and Man actually has the formula to make tobacco vanille from Tom Ford. And I was like, well, how much natural stuff is actually in it? He's like, barely anything. So I can tell that there's a bit of like actual botanicals in here where they might be using something a little bit different in the original.
I noticed the less of like the amber quality is what I would say is in the original.
Right.
So this is cleaned up. Like it's a brighter white when I envision the scent in my head now. Right. But it has kind of like a peppery spice to it. It must be the oud and the different texture from all of the other kind of carnation side.
And I think most of your family would absolutely recognize this as Grandpa's Old Spice. That's the fun part.
The cinnamon part. I think has a little bit more of a voice here too.
Let me see. Going a little hunt for some cinnamon here.
As it dries down, see what that does.
Right. It's the sweet part of the cinnamon that's adding its character to this. Oh, it's beautiful.
Like it's more like the bark somehow. Maybe that's the creamy tonka bean / benzoin sweet vanilla mode jumping in there. Oh, there's nutmeg too.
A giant part of Old Spice for me, the way the nutmeg and the carnation come together. I'm surprised you don't see more carnation in scents, especially in aftershaves, but I think it's just because Old Spice did it so well, it is almost recognizable in everything else.
It's interesting because yes, we have so many different Old Spice homages, but they all have their fun, different thumbprint. And this one, same thing.
This one is like the original with modern glasses on.
There
it's
you go.
So close.
It's like watching something on a VHS and then watching it more in 4K. It just gets less fuzzy. It's a little more clear. The layers have a voice.
That's a great analogy. You're just getting more detail, but it's all there. Your grandfather was a pilot. Did he ever tell you any stories about crazy stuff that would happen on the plane?
You know, he was pretty kind of quiet guy. It's interesting because I spent the most time with him after he was retired. So that was kind of like, I mean, I remember being super little and he'd be gone for a while traveling. But as we got older, you know, like he really jumped into a different routine with us. He would help pick us up from school. We spend lots of time. But I don't think I was old enough at the time to ask those questions. I really wish I had. I remember doing some kind of a report with him, but it was all on stuff about the war. So he talked about being a pilot in the war and people shooting at you and you got to get out of the way. But I didn't ask when he was actually more of like the continental side of being a pilot.
My Uncle Jimmy was a career Navyman, ended up being a captain who piloted a submarine. How cool is that?
I love watching things about summer. And it's just so intriguing to me, living under the depths of the ocean for however long they need to be there.
Yep. Even the dishes and glasses they would use at dinner time were designed to break in 2 chunks, not shatter.
It's like the things that they have to plan to take to the moon. Like there's just
I
certain
know.
things you have to plan.
Right. Well, when you're at the bottom of the Mediterranean Sea, you might as well be on the moon. Especially if you've gone quiet. That's if you're spying on somebody and they kind of know you're out there and they're looking for you. You almost have to turn off your engines, turn off everything until the heat dies down and just sit down there for a while. But I think that's why they invented nuclear submarines. There's a reactor on there, y'all. They can basically stay down there indefinitely. Unlike the one that went to the Titanic. That didn't stay down very long.
Did your dad use Old Spice?
No. You know, it's funny. Gentlemen out there in the whiff pack, if your grandpa used Old Spice, I don't think your dad did. I think it had to come around again to the grandchildren. I heard a great quote the other day. Grandparents and grandchildren get along because they have a common enemy.
That worked in our family for adding the sugar, because they would give us all the candy, all the things, and send us home.
We only got good soda, good cereal, and good cheese when we went to Nana and Grandpa's house. Fruity Pebbles, American Singles, and an entire refrigerator in the garage devoted exclusively to soda water. Well. So it's pretty simple, y'all. Picture it. Christmas, Hayward, California, 1965. Grandpa opens a box of Shulton Formula Old Spice. Well, he's got 3 or 4 bottles already going in the bathroom, so he figures, why don't I wrap this one up, keep the sticker, put it in the very back of the closet. Who knows? Someday maybe my grandchildren will get their own. So head over to aegrooming.com or shavingshopclub.com to find this and a bunch of other stuff I want. Well, I have had my shave, y'all, with Vintage Spice and spent the last couple of weeks kind of getting to know the little differences between this and the original formula. Just different enough so that each one makes you appreciate the other a little bit more. But this does something that Old Spice doesn't do. This will give you one heck of a shave with one of the best post-shave feels you've ever had for about 9 cents worth of product. Peter, we love this. We can't wait for the next one. Welcome to Messages.
So for our May giveaway, we wanted to give you a chance to get $20 to Phoenix Artisan Accoutrement.
Yeah, y'all, all you have to do to be eligible is send us an email here to WeSentYou@theBarbershopDuet.com so we can get back to you. It's the only way we communicate about our giveaways. And then check back here on our first June episode to see if you are our lucky winner.
Best of luck. It's fun. If I could go back in time, I think my grandpa would thoroughly enjoy the fact that we have a show about shaving soaps and stuff that he used to use that we get psyched about to have on the show, that he could even watch us on his own TV. Right. That would blow his mind.
I kind of like the fact that I'm making my grandparents proud doing this show. And helping all of you revisit the memories of your grandparents, too. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a better homage to that original Shulton Formula Old Spice. And y'all, I said this on the last episode, but the thing I love best about these tubes is after you're done shaving, you rinse out your bowl, you put your razor away, you're all done with your ritual, and then you do that. Oh man, I got a big patch right here, just long enough to bug me all day long. Well, grab this right to the face. Whoosh, you are good to go.
And a lot of our Whiff Pack members travel. I could totally see taking the tube, and even if you forget a brush, you could put that on your face and lather it up, and you're still good to go with a shave.
And ladies, Talia herself of Ariana and Evan says you can go right from the tube to your legs. Fabulous lateral move. Well, Peter, Talia, your entire family, thank you so much for sending these out for free for us to review and believing in our little show. We sure believe in you.
I am so excited to get our noses on the newest one. We're going to have to click order as soon as it's ready. Don't forget your next appointment with the Barbershop Duet.
You'll smell better just watching this.